One of our top stories this morning, Missoula police received a report just before 5 o'clock Friday afternoon of a shooting that had occurred inside a residence on Turner Court on Missoula's north side. Sergeant Matt Kaczynski provides details.
Officers responded to the area of Turner Court where they located the 24-year-old male who had suffered a gunshot wound to his shoulder. Information gathered during the initial investigation indicates the assailant is known to this male. The male was removed from the residence and then taken by ambulance for medical treatment.
Kaczynski said the witnesses and the victim are cooperating with Missoula police detectives.
At this time, the investigation is ongoing within the Detective Division of the Missoula Police Department. Anyone with information regarding this incident is asked to contact Detective Stacy Lear or Detective Guy Baker or Crime Stoppers 721-4444.
Now, according to the most recent report from police, no arrests have yet been made in that shooting incident. In Ravalli County District Court Friday, former Florence doctor Chris Christensen was sentenced to prison for overprescribing opioid drugs to his patients, causing 2 deaths. Ravalli County Attorney Bill Fulbright said the case against Christensen began with over 400 counts, but were reduced to 11 patients.
The case against Chris Christensen was ultimately charged relating to 11 patients that were the subject of an investigation. He was charged with and convicted by the jury of 22 felonies, 2 negligent homicides, 9 charges of criminal endangerment, and 11 charges of distributing prescription medications outside the scope of a medical practice.
Fulbright said he had originally asked for a 50-year prison term, but Judge Jeffrey Langton handed down a lighter sentence.
He was given a sentence of 20 years Montana State Prison with 10 of those years suspended, which is essentially a 10-year prison term followed by 10 years of probation. However, the court stayed execution of that sentence at this time, pending appeal.
While his case is being appealed, Christensen's license to practice medicine has been suspended. A music teacher in western Montana has been charged with felony sexual assault after prosecutors say he inappropriately touched a female student on a near-daily basis. The Missoulian reports the charge filed last Monday against Frenchtown teacher Troy Bashore followed a misdemeanor sexual assault charge from October involving another student. Bashore has pleaded not guilty to the misdemeanor in November. The first student claimed Bashore sexually harassed and groped her on several occasions in 2016. Prosecutors say the new charge stems from inappropriate contact that spanned from the summer of 2014 to early 2017. The girl reported contact that escalated from hugging to groping. The Frenchtown School District placed Bashore on paid leave following the initial charge. A number for Bashore could not be found late last week. Montana prosecutors say a man charged with killing his estranged wife last month brought his 15-year-old son with him. Court records say the boy told investigators he and Joseph Paul DeWise drove from Bozeman to Belgrade to an apartment where 35-year-old Lauren DeWise was living. When they arrived, the boy said his father told him he was going to kill the boy's stepmother and insisted that he come inside. The Bozeman Daily Chronicle reports the boy said his dad went upstairs and shot and killed Lauren DeWise and critically injured her roommate, 32-year-old Ashley Van Hemert. The boy said his father coached him in a cover story. DeWise has been charged with deliberate homicide and attempted deliberate homicide for the January 7th shootings. He has not entered a plea and remains jailed on $800,000 bail. He has asked for a public defender. While the city of Missoula works on installing a $220,000 hydrodynamic separator to filter out storm drain water before it goes into the Clark Fork River, residents on the hill above Cold Springs Elementary School are concerned about a project that the city hasn't paid much attention to for decades. Missoula County Floodplain Administrator Todd Kleitz said a storm drain system has created an oddly located floodplain on a hillside.
That storm drainage is resulting in, or has resulted since at least 1988, as a result of mandatory flood insurance for people that live down gradient of this storm drain. And there's less than a dozen homes that are affected, but those that are affected have the requirement to carry federal flood insurance if they have a federal mortgage on their property, and also comply with any floodplain regulations that both the city and the county have.
The floodplain insurance is pricey, up to nearly $1,000 per year for some of the homeowners. The surprising thing is where the storm drain system empties out, not far from a child's swing set.
It empties out into the backyard of a residence up in the South Hills. I've heard through FEMA that there have been some homes that have been adversely affected by by flooding with water in their basements.
There isn't even a proper irrigation ditch to funnel the water, which winds through the fence line and sometimes into homes. Resident Jim Chaffin found out he was in a floodplain when he tried to build a shed in his own backyard. He was furious when he found out the city infrastructure was causing the floodplain.
I'm calling it a sewer. It's a 2-foot conduit, culvert pipe, horizontal, sticking out of the side of the hill, and it terminates right at the property line of these people who are in the city, and it uses their backyard as their settling pond. The guy that lives there, he said that it runs full. Now, that's a lot of water coming out of a 24-inch diameter pipe.
Quite a lot of water indeed. One resident says he's experienced 4.5 feet of water in his basement. Kleitz said he was made aware of the problem last fall after a resident in the county questioned the floodplain designation. Since then, he says he's notified the city of Missoula but hasn't heard of any plan to fix the situation. In the meantime, the EPA has been called in to investigate. A man convicted of fatally shooting a woman who was calling 911 to report him is asking for a new trial. The Billings Gazette reported last week the state Supreme Court is expected to rule on Richard Douglas Reinert's request by midsummer. Reinert was convicted of deliberate homicide in 2015 in the death of Jessica Stevenson. Prosecutors said Stevenson was calling 911 trying to protect Reinert's wife from him. She was shot in Reinert's Billings Heights home. Reinert claimed self-defense. And finally, Glacier Park in Montana is proposing to lease some historic cabins on Lake McDonald in an effort to preserve the structures. The National Park Service announced that the proposal was available for review and that public comment would be accepted through March 1st. The Flathead Beacon reports 7 properties with 24 buildings are included in the plan. Among them are Kelly's Camp and the Wheeler Cabin, both located on the north end of Lake McDonald. The Park Service says it has limited funds for historic preservation for properties it owns. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station. Scattered showers today with our high temperatures in the upper 30s. Tonight, a wintry mix of rain and snow with our overnight low temperatures dropping just below the freezing mark. Snow accumulations of a dusting to half an inch. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.